Hey folks, DARBRORC Models here. Just a quick demo video on our 3D battery carriers, right from the very first one that you see here, right through to our tandem adjustable battery carriers, which I'll show you a little bit later on in the video. So this was a Vision Air battery carrier, the very first one that we designed. It is created exactly the correct size to be able to just take the old battery tray out of the Vision Air and put the new one in. The slots down the side are the exact correct width, so you can use your existing screws that you have removed. They are slotted so that you can actually slide the battery carrier backwards and forwards to create your correct CFG. Changing the battery is as simple as opening the latch, opening the cover, putting your battery in, and reversing the procedure. And that is as simple as it can get to change a battery. It's held very securely. You can also put a thin layer of foam rubber in the bottom if you wanted, just to give it a little bit of back pressure against the door. The more back pressure you put against the door, the tighter the latch is going to be. It's designed in that way that it just gets tighter the more pressure you put on it. I've yet to have one open in flight, and I really do throw my models around. It is really a secure system. So that's the Vision Air one, the very first design that we created, and next we'll move on to the quadcopter design. Right, so this is the quadcopter carrier. As you can see, a little bit of a different design. This one actually is designed to hang from the bottom of your quadcopter, or you can also put it on the top of your quadcopter. Wherever you can find a space, you can put this carrier in. It loads from the front or the back, obviously whichever orientation you've got it on your copter. Very simple. Just put it in, close the door, and that's it. You are as secure as you can get. To take the battery out again, just release the tabs on the side, pull the battery out, put your new one in, and close it up, and that there is it. It's that simple. It's a secure little cage, it'll make putting your batteries in a lot easier on the quadcopter, and safer as well. No Velcro required, no chance of anything coming loose. This one does come with a little plate on the top that you can take off. If you didn't want this mounting bracket on, you can actually undo the 6 screws, take it off. You can then use that plate as a template to drill 4 or 6 screws. We do recommend you use all of them because it gives support on the outside on the center wings, and it'll then operate in exactly the same way. Again, this uses the 2700 milliamp battery. This is the latest one from Hobby King that is actually designed specifically for multi-rotor applications. And then we'll move on to our big 6S battery carrier. Right, so this is our big 6S battery carrier. You can see the design is a little bit different. This one has actually got a forward closing mechanism on the front rather than the center as you saw in the Vision Air one. This is a solid carrier, and we have actually gone to the split design on this one now as well, but I just thought I'd show this one to you as well so that you can see the development process that we have followed. This one was designed for the 6S 8000 Zippy battery, quite a big brick. I actually use this in my carbon cub, the one from Hangar 9, the latest brilliant model, absolutely fantastic. Again, changing, quite simple, put the battery in, close it and latch it. This one comes with the addition of a little cradle on top to hold your low battery warning beeper, and it's that simple. Just connect it up and you are good to go, good to connect, and off you go. I use these beepers in every single one of my models. All my models are electric flight, and I fly them right to the beeper. I get maximum use out of my batteries. I don't believe in stopping a battery at 40% capacity. It just makes no sense to me. So mine get drawn right down to the beeper and land immediately. So that's the big 6S. As I said, this is also now being created on a split level design using the carbon rod slider, so you can adjust the length of this carrier, which we will come to shortly. So that there is the 6S 8000 milliamp solid carrier. Okay, so moving on to the adjustable carrier. Very similar design on the front end. Again, just take your battery carrier in and out. This one can be created with a bracket to go on the top for the beeper if required. That's not a problem at all, just needs to be requested. But as you can see, this actually has an adjustable mechanism, so you are not limited with the length of your battery. So you can put in a longer battery. Once you've settled on the length that you require for your battery, just put a spot of epoxy glue, slide your carrier forward so the glue penetrates into the slot, wait for it to dry. Once it's dried, trim the back ends off, file them, and that's it. You then got yourself a self-contained battery carrier. You can leave it adjustable if you want. All of our carriers come with the slotted mechanisms on the inside. These are designed for you to be able to use standard servo screws with a little rounded cap head, and they will fit nicely in there and they won't foul on your battery. You can put the battery straight onto the top of the plastic, but we do recommend a very thin layer of foam rubber to go on them. So that is the single battery adjustable design, and your only limiting factor obviously is going to be your width and your height of your battery going in the front. All of our carriers are designed around the Turnigy range, where you actually have a cable coming out the side of the housing, and that's what these recesses are for here. So your cable will actually lie down in the side and come out the housing, so it's not going to foul on anything. They all have these little cutouts when required. You can see right back to the little 3-cell vision there. They've got the cutouts on each corner, so you can put this carrier in any which way you want, and the cable is still going to come out the side. That's our split design, and we'll now move on to the twin split design. Okay, so this is our latest battery carrier. This was designed specially for one of our customers who is an F3A professional pilot. And he needed some sort of way of mounting both of his batteries that he could change quickly. He didn't want to use the Velcro, so we created this battery carrier for him for his F3A competition model. Again, the adjustable type, so he was able to just adjust it to the length of the batteries that he is using, and he glued it, chopped the ends off like we said before, and that is it, good to go. Obviously this, you've got to make sure you've got enough height over the top to open the door when you're fitting it into your model. But this one, again, fitting the batteries in, simple matter of just opening the door, putting the batteries in, and closing the door on top of them again, and that's it. When you do actually decide on your size, obviously you need to leave a little bit of space on the front of the battery carrier, so that when you open it, your batteries can tilt to come out. Otherwise you will actually have them fouling on the back of the housing. So there is a little bit of movement required in the carrier. You'll work this out for yourself when you come to actually fit your batteries in. It's really not a big problem. And that is our split design battery carrier. All of our carriers will now actually be featuring the adjustable mechanisms. Probably won't do it on the 3S's because they're quite small and light anyway, but certainly on our bigger carriers we will probably pursue the adjustable mechanisms on all of them. It certainly makes a lot more sense, and it gives you better flexibility on what kind of batteries you can use. And finally, moving on to our onboard flight pack battery carriers. As you can see, much smaller. This is designed for the 3600 milliamp flight battery receiver pack from Turnigy. And again, changing it dead easy. Open the carrier, put the battery in, close it, and that's it, you're done. I've actually got both of these in my carbon cub, so I've got my flight pack and I've got my power pack for the motor, and these are both in my model. That's about it for the carriers that I can show you. We obviously make these custom made for any size battery that you have in mind, any application. You know, you only have to, it doesn't matter how weird and wonderful you think your idea is, you run it by us. If we can do it, we'll tell you. We'll create the design, we'll generate the final print and get it off to you. We do post outside of UK, that's not a problem. You just need to get a quote from us, obviously with doing designs sort of across the internet and via emails, it's always possible that your final design may just be a little bit not quite what you wanted. We are prepared to fine tune for you, that's not a big deal. Obviously that does come at your cost though. But if you are in the area and you want to come down, we can obviously then match up exactly to your model. It's not a problem